Hey moms, it's me, Queenie, and you are about to enjoy the Empowering Girl Mom Show. We're about to get started, so please make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with your friends so that more moms know that we are here as a resource to support all of us in up-leveling motherhood. I look forward to joining you in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey moms, it's me, Queenie, and you are about to enjoy the Empowering Girl Mom Show. Hey. Hello, and welcome to the Empowering Girl Mom Show. Thank you so much for joining me. I am your host, Queenie Brown, certified master life and business coach, women's empowerment author of the Self-Love Lessons and the Mother-Daughter Journal and Journey. I'm super excited to have today's conversation because we're talking about connecting more deeply with your daughter. And today's guest is Ms. Rachael King, and she is going to talk to us a little bit about connecting with our daughters based on her life's experience. And she's a coach and she's been a teacher for 10 years. And so I didn't get a chance to share this with you, Ms. Rachael, and I'll share this with the rest of the world as well. I recently have been having conversations with teachers, and it's interesting. I've identified that there's this big gulf between teachers and parents. And so I'm excited to have this conversation today so that we can talk a little bit more about that and how we can support you moms from the perspective of a teacher. So thank you for joining us today, Rachael. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Queenie. It's great to be here. I'm really excited. I love this movement of empowering mums and supporting them to build these deep connections with their daughters.
Absolutely, absolutely. It changes things. That relationship between a mother and daughter, when it's good, oh my goodness, it's life-giving, it's fruit-bearing. It gives you just joy unspeakable. But when it's off, oh my word, it's horrible. It takes
It
something out of
is.
you as a woman, right? So to be able to build on that connection and grow that connection is really important. So tell us a little bit more about what you do and why you're here talking to us today.
So yeah, thank you. I am the holistic parenting coach for mums, and I support mums to build deeply connected and thriving relationships with their daughters. Prior to getting into the coaching industry, I was a teacher for about a decade in what we call primary school in Australia. So maybe junior over where you are, and up into middle school. So working with up to sort of about 15-year-olds. And in my journey as a mum, I've now got a 13-year-old daughter. So running alongside my journey as a mum and seeing kids in the classroom, what they really need to succeed and thrive in life, it sort of really dawned on me that this deep emotional connection with a mother is just so important for our kids for their well-being, for their academic success, for their social success. I just realized that it's really what I want to prioritize in my life for both my daughter and the kids that I was teaching. And so to be able to do that, it's about working with the mums and supporting them to really work out what it is that's going on for them and how to bridge any divide that's happening. When my daughter was about 8 or so, I began to realize things were not going well. And, we didn't have great open communication. She would shut down easily. She wouldn't tell me about the little things that were going on for her at school. And so I began to really worry that if she's not telling me these little things that are going on now, what's going to happen when she's getting into her teen years and she's being affected by big decisions, and she can't talk to me. I was really concerned about the state of our relationship. And so it's about that time I really started to examine my own patterns in our relationship and how I was showing up, the ways that I thought perhaps were getting in the way of our connection. And I really did a deep dive into, parenting, communication, finding out who I am as a parent, as a mother, and beginning to understand my daughter a lot more as well, and building that mutual understanding between us. And she's sort of transformed from quite an anxious 8, 9-year-old. She was actually diagnosed with social anxiety disorder. I had a really hard time, getting her to school on occasions and getting her to parties. She was a very, shy, kind of shut down kind of kid. And over the time, as I've sort of improved my mental health and been able to support her better emotionally, she has flourished. She still feels anxious, but it doesn't derail her the way that it used to. And so I've just seen firsthand the importance of building that strong emotional connection, and how it's really bridged the gap between us, but also served her in her mental health and well-being.
It's so interesting you say that, because that's something that I have found too. A lot of us, when we look at our children struggle, we don't think about it being our or wearing our struggle, and the wounds that we're carrying that we inadvertently pass down to them. We're looking at them head on, and we don't like it, and we're frustrated by it, and we don't know how to fix it because we couldn't fix it within ourselves, right? But the moment you turned around and went inward and started to heal whatever it was that was on the inside of you that needed a little more love, it shifted her. And so that's really the whole message of this movement right now. It's about us moms deciding to look in the mirror and heal what's unhealed. Deal with what's under the rug that we've been tucking in. Every time someone offended us or hurt our feelings or did something, we would tuck it under the rug, because who has time to deal with it? But then if you keep doing that, that rug eventually will take over the room, and it'll bleed into all of your relationships, as in your parenting. So I applaud you, Mom, for turning it inward and focusing on healing your own heart so that she could heal. And look at what happened. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's such a light bulb moment, really. I'm thinking, I've got this anxious kid who's really struggling here. And then, when I turned the mirror on myself, it's like, well, hang on, I'm anxious, I'm stressed, I'm rushing, I'm worrying. I'm not coping well, I'm finding things really hard. So, go figure, right? It's sort of,
Right.
how can I expect more from her than I'm even able to, live up to? And it really was the beginning for me, connecting with my authentic self, self-love, like
Mm-hmm.
literally waking up in the morning and saying to the mirror, good morning, beautiful, like I love you,
Yes.
like really taking it quite literally. And I think I was writing about this the other day, but on some level I didn't think I was worthy of this deep, beautiful connection with my daughter. I wasn't lovable. There was something in the way there. And it's because I hadn't accepted all the parts of myself, all the parts that I love and don't love, and bringing that self-compassion to myself and my journey. And that's been instrumental as well. I've done a lot of reading around Kristen Neff's work on self-compassion, and that inner critic that is so hard on us. I actually thought it was really weird when I realized that voice in my head was really hard. I'm always stuffing up and never good enough, and I got quite the shock, actually. And so developing self-compassion was a huge part of my journey. And in doing so, I developed more compassion for my daughter and her plight and journey. And, just all beautiful things breed from self-compassion. We don't have to be that inner drill sergeant, thinking that, we have to give ourselves a hard time and we'll do better. We actually change and grow from that place of self-compassion.
Yes. I always say it's amazing what will happen and what you can create in an environment of love. And oftentimes we find ourselves, like you just mentioned, feeling unworthy, feeling all these negative feelings, and then we feel like beating up on ourselves is going to give us a better result. Like, on what planet does that work? It doesn't. It just makes you
Yeah,
more beat up, right? I know that
that's right.
for a long time I punished myself. for not being who I thought they needed to be, or just there's just so many things that we internalize and we don't realize it. And then we pass that on to them because they're watching and they're taking notes.
Mm,
So I appreciate you saying that self-compassion is where you begin, because I agree with that
mm,
100%.
mm.
100%. Um, so what would you say to a mom who is challenged with her daughter and she's disconnected? What would you say would be her first step? What would you tell her to do?
I think meeting herself with that compassion, it's okay. It's not your fault that this is how things are, but it is your responsibility to change. And with support, you can turn the light on, what's going on for you. It's the first place to start. What is going on for mum? What's going on in her life? What are her challenges? And who are you? Who is this beautiful mum? Who is this woman? And what is it that she wants from her life and for her daughter? And getting really clear on who she is and her own authenticity. We get so many messages in society of what it is to be a mum. These myths of motherhood, that mums just know what to do. You get this baby delivered and then you go home and that's it. You just kind of get on with it. But so many changes take place when hormonal, physiological, psychological, emotional changes take place, and it affects everyone differently.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually been learning about a term called matrescence. It's like adolescence. But yeah, it's describes. It was a term coined in the 1970s, and we don't really talk about it that much. But it's just like adolescence. The changes that a teen goes through in their body. The same thing happens to a mum when she has a baby, and sometimes it can be labeled as postpartum depression.
Mm-hmm.
But it could just be this natural process that the mum is going through.
Right.
I learned about that on a podcast called Motherkind. She's a UK-based Zoe Blaskey. She's fantastic, and she's also shining the light on wanting mums to find peace and confidence in motherhood. So yeah, I think it's okay where you are now. It's okay. It's never too late to bring about change in your relationship with your daughter, and getting support to find out where you're at, uncovering your values. I think that's a beautiful first step. I know that when I actually identified my core values, I was then able to make decisions anchored to those values. When's the last time you've even thought about what your values are?
Mm-hmm.
Who's asked you that? It's not a
Mm-hmm.
conversation we often have. So in the beginning, it's all about accepting where you're at and bringing self-compassion to where you are, and knowing that there is hope to change.
I love that. I love that. And you make such a good point. I remember when I gave birth to my first daughter, my mother kept saying to me, it's going to kick in. The mother stuff is going to kick in. And she says, you have it. And I said to her, I don't know what it is you think I have, but I don't have it. It's not there.
Yeah.
We always feel like there's a need that we can't fulfill, but we've got to remember that God equipped us with everything that we need on the inside. And so we can trust that and lean into that and know that it's possible that for the answers to show up when it's time. So I love your advice. I definitely love your advice. Now, one last thing I wanted to mention, because you were a teacher for 10 years, I have had the good fortune. I live with a teacher, which is really interesting. But what I'm learning is a lot of the ways that kids show up in the classroom, the way they perform, the way they just the way that they show up in the classroom is highly impacted by the way that mom is showing up at home. And sometimes the teachers are challenged with the children's behavior, with their preparedness, with their study skills, with their everything. And they're trying to get the kid to do something different. And the kid wants to do something different because the children want to please you, obviously. But then when they go home, it's not reinforced because mom doesn't necessarily have the same skill set that the teacher has. Teachers have, higher education, plus they have early childhood development. They have experience with anywhere from 30 to 150 students every single day for 9 months out of the year. That's so much experience compared to mom having one at a time, maybe no more than 3 in a lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a big gulf between what the teachers need the kids to know and how they need to be prepared compared to what mom's sending to school. And
Yeah.
so I want to help equip the moms with what they need so that the kids will have more of what they need.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely noticed it in my practice. I noticed that the kids who were securely attached to their caregiver, mum at home, dad, and I'm talking about like a secure emotional attachment. They felt safe, there was a strong bond there was respect. They were the ones who were really respectful in the classroom. They were the ones who gave learning, realized that learning was a great opportunity. They treated it with respect. They did well. And it's very difficult in the classroom when you've got 30 children coming from different environments and backgrounds, and you're trying to create a community of learning and respect and kindness with all of those different backgrounds coming into the one room. And it is challenging when children there's something they're not feeling safe to really explore. I noticed, just a little story, you would sometimes issue a threat like, well, if you don't kind of collaborate and get along, I'm going to have to let mum know at home. And there would be those kids who would understand that, oh yeah, that's okay, I've done the wrong thing, you can contact mum. They weren't afraid of that connection and communication because they knew that mum would handle them with understanding and compassion, and the child would make it up, and apologize. Whereas there were those kids who were very fearful of contact with home because they knew that they'd done the wrong thing and they were not going to be met with that compassion and understanding for, the mistake that they'd made. So it really is about creating a safe haven for your kid at home, a safe base, a safe container where they can talk to you about anything. I think, we want to rush in and solve all of our kids' problems, and we think that they should or they shouldn't behave a certain way. But I mean, all behavior really is just a window into, their emotions and, what's going on for them. I think rather than judging our kids' behavior, if we can learn to get curious about it, and we can build more understanding and we can actually understand what's going on for the child. So I think one of the most important things I learned to do as a parent was just listen. Just learn to listen to my child without judgment. And I had to be prepared to hear anything. They're out in the world experiencing all sorts of things, having all sorts of feelings. We need to be prepared as parents to be able to handle it. And I think so often what comes up, tricky questions or tricky topics, we're uncomfortable because we haven't kind of assessed what it means for us. Difficult topics like sex, if you're not comfortable talking about that, well, then you might really not be okay talking with your child about it. So just, I think really wanting, getting clear on what you want your connection to be, what you want your home to be. It needs to be a safe space for your child to be able to say whatever's on their mind. There's that saying, nothing human is alien to me. It's like we all have the emotions, we all have the weird thoughts. Our kids can be weird and wacky and wonderful, and it's sort of about meeting them with non-judgment and being prepared to bring them in no matter what they've done, and getting curious rather than judgmental. And it's from that place of curiosity, you can begin to understand what's actually going on for your child, and you build connection and trust. And that's what it's all about: strong connection, building trust, it's really what our kids need to thrive.
Amen to that. Strong connection and building trust. So, if those of you who are watching, if there's something that stands out to you or you have a comment or question, please put it in the comments. We're going to be doing a roundtable at the end of the month with both the speakers and also a roundtable for teachers. And so if you have questions for this speaker, Ms. Rachael King, make sure you include them here so that we can ask her to come back and share her answers. I'm so grateful for you having a moment to sit and chat with me today. This has been incredibly rich, and I'm thoughtful. I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged about how I can apply this to myself. I'm gonna have to do some introspection because I realize that there's some shifts that I get to make too. So this journey is going to be it's eye-opening on so many levels. I'm seeing myself, I'm seeing my children, I'm seeing my friends and their children, I'm seeing my mother and her children. You just start to see how these dynamics play out, and you see what it looks like when they do it their way and what it looks like when you kind of learn a new way. So I'm really grateful for this conversation. Is there any parting, well, before we go, is there a gift that you wanted to offer to our community?
Yes, that's right. I have actually created a list of 41 things you can say to your child to mindfully build connection and understanding. And I would love to be able to offer that to all the mums joining in. And it's, just some little tips and tricks and tools about how to start, difficult conversations and how to get curious with our kids.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. So make sure you guys click on the link so that you can get a copy of the 41 tips to help you connect more deeply. And if you have any parting words, Miss Rachael, we would love to hear any last minute nugget or some quote or anything that you would want to leave into the hearts of moms. Please feel free to do so.
Yeah, thank you. I've loved talking with you today. I really just want to impart the message that, we are all unique in our mother journeys, and we all have to find our own authentic path to what it is, what being a mother means to us. And it's really from that place we can start to build those deep, beautiful, trusting connections with our kids. And, it's never too late. It's never too late to start.
Wow. Thank you so very much for joining us. And thank you all for watching another episode of the Empowering Girl Mom Show. Be sure to like it, share it, subscribe to my channels wherever you are, do all the stuff, leave a comment, and make sure you join us for tomorrow's episode. We are going to be going deeper with another expert to help you go even deeper in your relationship with your daughter. All right. Be blessed. And thanks again for watching. I'm Queenie. Take good care. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody. Wow. What did you think of today's episode? We went a little bit deeper into understanding how to connect to her heart. And the biggest takeaway for me was that as moms, we got to turn that mirror around and look at ourselves. And we've got to see that when we notice things going on in our daughters' lives, oftentimes it's a reflection of something that's going on inside of us, right? So we get to take that mirror, turn it around, look at our stuff from a different perspective, and then with compassion, with gentleness, make some adjustments. So I hope that blessed you today. I wanted to remind you all that for those of you who are power moms, we want to invite you to tomorrow's Heart to Heart is going to be after the session on Wednesday. And so if you have not registered as a power mom, please do make sure you do that. That will give you access to the recordings for all of the speakers. It'll also give you access to the recordings for the oh goodness, my brain, come on back, for the roundtables that we're going to be doing later on. There's a roundtable for the teachers, and there's also going to be a speakers roundtable where you will have an opportunity to talk live with each of the speakers and ask your questions. Keep in mind, we are locking arms throughout this entire journey, and our goal is to walk through every single speaker, to take in what they're teaching, to start to apply it into our lives. And by the end of this journey, at the end of Mother's Month, the goal is for us to be able to say, I saw changes in my life. I saw testimonial evidence that things are different as a result of having participated in this experience. So I don't want to just have a bunch of people talking at you. We want to see some changes in all of our lives and up level and upgrade motherhood through this experience. So I want to say thank you again. If you would like to become a power mom, make sure you go back to empoweringgirlmoms.com, click on register, and then make sure that after you've registered, you go ahead and become that power mom. All right. All right. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. We're going to go even deeper. Oh, I have a good one tomorrow. We're talking about healing from toxic love relationships. Don't miss that one. Okay. Make sure you have your notebook, take your notes, and I'll see you there tomorrow. I'm Queenie. Take good care. Bye-bye.